So I'm working on the whole fuel rail situation now. We have an excessive one, however we do not have top feed fuel injectors. We are currently utilizing some SR20 side feed injectors, so obviously that will not work with the top feed fuel rail. So we decided to just go back to the old OEM fuel rail. Now the only thing that we have to do to kind of make this work and adapt this to run a fuel pressure regulator is remove the OEM one. For some reason, obviously my camera won't focus because it never does, but we're going to remove this guy. As you guys can see, I took out the screws. They can be quite difficult to take out, so be careful not to strip them because you know, that even makes this situation even worse. I had to use a set of vice grips on one of them, but we got that out, popped this guy off, and we're going to go ahead and install this guy, which is just an adapter. We can either go to a barb or AN. We're just going to utilize the barb, and that's going to let us run a aftermarket fuel pressure regulator.
I found out what this life is worth. This is the calling, as long as this is done.
So I'm not entirely too sure where we left off, because obviously this is like a week later since the last time I had the camera in my hands talking about this car. So I did a few things in the meantime, just a few little things, nothing too crazy. I'm just going to tell you quickly what I did. Just did the quick oil drain, super straightforward. Finished up the power steering. All the intercooler piping is now complete. We just have to go ahead and clamp everything down. I got the fuel pressure regulator mounted, and I just went ahead and swapped over the fittings just so the actual, you know, line would come in on that side instead of wrapping over on this side where it originally was. Got our vacuum lines. I just have a T fitting in there. Everything power wise for the fuse box is now complete. I am going to work on the grounds, and let's see, we kind of mounted the distribution block. I was telling you guys I didn't really like how stiff this main wire was, so it's kind of tricky to work with. Didn't really give us too much access to kind of tuck it away kind of nice, but he's all right with it. I mean the owner of this is not my car. For some of you that are wondering, this is not my car. But yeah, I mean we're essentially like 90% done. We got to do grounds, get a couple things with the fuel. We still got to mess with the fuel rail. My dad is actually making me some spacers at work in the machine shop. And just a quick heads up for those of you that are going to be running a stock fuel rail, let's say with this specific manifold, you can run this fuel rail. You will be using a 1.35 millimeter washer in between the spacer to lift the fuel rail back. Get these nice and stripped in it. Oh. Okay. So I need a new pair of strippers. That's what's next, gentlemen. New pair of strippers. I'm not talking about the dancing kind. So I'm sure at least one person's going to ask me this question about these MAF wires going to the Z32 MAF. The white wire on the K harness is your signal wire. The black with the white stripe is your 12 volt, and the black, solid black, is the ground. Now looking at the Z32 connector, this being the top going A to E, A is not being used, B is this red wire, which is the signal wire. Next to that we have the ground. This is going to be going to the chassis ground, it's the green wire, and this one here is the 12 volt connection. Alright, so a bit of an issue here. So obviously these ones that I bought here, for some odd reason, they aren't the right size, but luckily I bought some of these guys from Home Depot a while ago, and I never ended up using them because this was in there, you know, in there like that. So and then you got this guy, you know what I mean? But now this is actually the size that's supposed to be in there, and look at this. So I guess I'll quickly just mention how a wastegate works for those of you that are wondering. I had to take it off to get to that previous barb to take it off. So basically what happens is, say you're in boost. Let's say this is a 7-pound wastegate spring. So let's say you build 7 pounds. Once this spring in here sees 7 pounds, it's going to open up this flap. You guys hear that? There's a flap at the back side of the turbo that opens up and releases the exhaust gases, therefore not allowing the turbo to create any more boost. So it's all about that spring inside your wastegate that controls your boost. You guys also see people splice in electronic boost controller to these things and basically allow to manage the boost and add more if you guys want. It's coming down. It's coming down. It's actually kind of warm. It's like 55 right now. I don't know what this weather's all about, but I'm alright with it. What do you guys say? 13 or 14? What would you choose?
All right, so quick little tip I learned in 3rd grade on the playground is if you guys are looking to remove one of these exhaust, or I guess it could be an exhaust stud, any stud in general, this one being a intake manifold stud. This guy is actually getting in the way of our fuel rail due to the way that this whole fuel rail is mounted. Yeah, so basically we need to get rid of this stud. And to do that, as you guys can see, I tried to just use vice grips in the back and turn it out. That did not work, so I went ahead and put one nut, and I put 2 nuts. Then basically I tightened them both together, and you go ahead and use this back nut and loosen that as you're tightening this front nut. So I don't know if that made sense to you guys, but you will be able to get that stud out in a jiffy. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So if you use this, so you got that, you know, you're loosening this back stud, and look at that. The stud is backing out. Easy stuff.